Uh, this is crazy. I think my water just broke and I am on my way to the hospital. I'm feeling very nervous, very, very excited. Uh, Not sure, and they should like let you know. It's like you feel this all of a sudden bubbling, and then boom, something comes out, and then there's a. I understand why they say a show. How are you feeling?
Chile.
Chilly?
Chilling.
Chilling?
Yeah, it's nice, you
he's
know.
he's so great. I just wasn't expecting it. I thought I maybe. Well, I don't think I'm gonna make it to 39 weeks. Can't wait to meet the baby. So now I've gone through the checks. So the process for those that haven't given birth yet, my water, as I told you guys, my water broke, and I they did a monitor of heart rate, mine and the baby's. They took my blood and they checked to make sure, because my water broke, to make sure that the liquids were clear. So we're all good. And now I am being wheeled in a wheelchair, which I did not want to sit in, to the ward. And I'm giving birth at Ichilov, and the people here seem to be so far so good, really nice. It is almost 11 o'clock. Oh, so it's 10:44, and I'm at the hospital, and I am bouncing on a ball, apparently to help induce labor. Still waiting, which I'm okay with because I'm not looking to rush the process. A little scared of doctors. So my father-in-law came in and he said to me, because he works at the hospital, and he says, "Oh, I'm gonna make sure that all the nurses are around to help you, and the doctors, and special attention." I'm like, "No, no, that's okay. I don't need that much attention because I don't want so many doctors around." Yeah, but I'm feeling good. I have a lot of energy. I feel like I'm talking a mile a minute. Um, I do have contractions. I don't know. I kind of call them cramps because they feel like more like period pains, which I guess is contractions. Feel like I read a book, I watched a video, I watched tons of them, and yet I still don't feel like I know what's going on 100%. Um, yeah, so I really like so far, anyone who lives in Israel and looking to give birth at Ichilov, is that they've left me alone, and that's something that sounds really great to me. So it's my update, and I'll check in with you guys a little bit later on today. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Oh, right. Run on the river. Do, 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 do. I have been here at the hospital since 2:30, and it is now 6 something, 6:20. So I think we can all do the math, but me. But that's a lot of hours, and to help bring on my contractions, I dance. I danced to Tina Turner, "Proud Mary," from the movie What's Love Got to Do with It? If I haven't seen it before, old movie from the early 90s, but it's a goodie. Content is, whatever, so just be advised. And I'm a little bit tired, from dancing. I needed to have my wig on so I can really get that wig action, but it didn't really happen. And I think I'm feeling contractions more. My stomach feels a bit tighter, or my uterus, and my back hurts. But I'm still waiting for the, oh my gosh, this is horrible, get this baby out of me. I don't know if that will really happen or not. I'm kind of hoping that it doesn't. Maybe that's just I'm in like this zen sort of place where the pain hasn't really started yet. But yeah, so that's my update. So I hope that my next video, the next part of this video, I'll be able to
Say she's here.
Right, to say she's here. Okay. After 24 and a half hours of waiting for things to happen on its own, I am being sent to the delivery room. However, I believe that I'm going to be induced or given a little bit of assistance to help things along. I do have contractions and they are getting stronger. There's definitely a difference between 20 seconds and 40 seconds. They have left my people on the desk. I'm being wheeled around. So it's I'm a little frustrated because I feel that my body should just be doing it, and so I feel that my body should have done it on its own. Now I've just entered to the delivery room and it smells very medical. Nervous, excited, just positive, praying, good thoughts. To be continued.
I'm stuck in it,
So now, after 36 hours, I have given birth to a baby girl. We will announce the name a little bit later. I also will hope to add in this video or in the next one probably, my labor experience. It was, whew, very intense. Very, very, very intense. But, oh, wow. She is absolutely beautiful and so worth it. So, but it was definitely a lot. And I am so exhausted. I feel like I can totally pass out. I must say that was definitely an ordeal. I was so tired and hadn't slept in like 36 hours. So, recap. The first 24 hours were pretty easy. The doctors wanted to see if my contractions would start on their own. So they gave me 24 hours to try it and give my body its time. My body had other plans because it decided it wanted to be induced. So around 1:30 a.m. Tuesday morning, I was transferred from the waiting room to the delivery room. And the first room that they put me in, there are different types of rooms at Ichilov. They have, which is the hospital, they have a natural birthing room, and they have the regular room where people will get epidurals. I had requested to have a room with laughing gas, and I also thought that they would have a lot of the natural birthing equipment, being able to use a hot tub, birthing balls, etc., because I wanted to have a more or less natural birth, although I wasn't opposed to having an epidural. Actually, that's not true. I really didn't want an epidural at all. I really wanted to try natural. We get into the room, and the whole setup of getting my body prepped and ready, clearing out my colon, so no messes on the table. It took a while. So at around, let's say, 5 o'clock is when I started. Is when they wanted to give me the pitocin, which is the drug that they give to induce labor. The first room that I started off with didn't have laughing gas available. Not only that, but it was completely sterile. No birthing balls. They attached me to a fetal monitor, so I'm not able to walk around. And the way that they wanted to put in the IV also didn't permit me to just walk around the room, which is something as according to my birthing plan, was something I definitely didn't want. We moved to a different room because the laughing gas wasn't working. The laughing gas wasn't available. We moved to a different room. They set up the IV, so it's like one thing down. Not only did I have to be induced, but I also was confined to the bed, and I wanted to be able to try different positions that I had read about to alleviate the pain, and that wasn't available to me. So they gave me the IV with fluid and the pitocin. That started very quickly. When I came into the hospital, I was at 1 centimeter dilated, and the part of the reason of why they induced me, because although I was experiencing contractions, they were nothing contractions, baby, 20 there was 20 minutes in between, 15 minutes, and they were looking for me to have 4 minutes in between every contraction, lasting for 40 to 60 seconds. And there's definitely a difference between 20 and 40 seconds, and I was experiencing 20, 30 seconds, occasionally 40 seconds, nowhere near 60. But the Pitocin, however, definitely felt it. So I went from not experiencing any contractions and not being sure if I'm experiencing it or not to this is definitely a contraction. Oh my gosh. And the oh my gosh part was how I wasn't expecting how painful it would be. I couldn't catch my breath. Uh, there were nurses coming in, and then I found out that the room that we moved to, the laughing gas wasn't working. So my husband is talking to the nurse. She's in pain. She needs to have it, and it took them. And I'm not so aware of timing, but in my mind, it took them a really long time for them to bring someone to fix the laughing gas. And so every person that would come in, I thought that they were the person to fix the laughing gas. And I'm like, and every time I would realize that they were, I'm like, oh no, 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 get out, get out. I just did not want them around. It's just, and then there was like a change of doctors, and they had to do a round, and there was just too many people in the room taking their time, not giving me the laughing gas. I'm in excruciating pain. I've never felt pain like this in my life. I hope to never experience such pain again. And when they say that they compare, when people say that having that birth or labor contractions are similar to a wisdom tooth, the similarity is that you can't focus on anything else but that pain. That's the similarity. So they gave me the laughing gas, and I thought the laughing gas was supposed to really help dull the pain. I don't know about everyone else, but it didn't. There was nothing like that for me. I felt like I was drunk, or I had taken some sort of drug, which I had, but some drug of some sort, and I just felt like a Ferris wheel going around in my head and still being stabbed and clobbered in the uterus and back, and that there was no chance for me to have a break. I just wanted to sleep for a little bit, for like 30 minutes, and I knew in the back of my head that it was kind of like getting on a roller coaster, and that you realize like you're scared and you can't get off, or an airplane, you're already up in the air, you have to wait until you finish. So this was the feeling that I had, and that just made me cry even more. And I knew that the baby's the end result, and women have done it before, but for me it just was, it was horrible. And then I found out, and I'm like, and everyone kept saying that my contractions were really nothing. So I'm like, they must be higher. This must be really moving my body. And I kept asking my mom and my husband, hey, tell me, is it higher? Has it moved up? And in the end, they had lied to me for just to make me feel better. I found out later that it wasn't where it was supposed to be. And then the midwife that checked me told me I only moved a half a centimeter. I'm like, what? I can't do this. If I continue this way, I'm going to pass out. I know why they had fainting spells when they were giving birth. This pain is too much. I cannot handle it. I cannot do it. And I asked for the epidural, and they took a long time the anesthesiologist took a long time to come. And he kept saying he wanted my consent. I'm like, you have my consent? Yes, 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 please just do it, just do it, just do it. And I didn't even care about the needles. He asked me to sign a waiver, and he's like, have you read it? I'm like, yes, I understand. I could be paralyzed for life. Please just do it. He's like, no, I meant that you might end up having headaches or something like that afterwards. I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever it is, I'll sign, no problem. I didn't care. They could have said I was losing, I don't know what, just, the pain was so bad. I would have done anything to get rid of it. epidural helped a lot. I am a huge fan. Will, God willing, whenever I get pregnant again, I will definitely use an epidural, 100%. I and that really helped a lot. I moved once I got the Pitocin and the epidural. I moved to 3 centimeters to 5 centimeters to 6, and then the next time they checked me, I was at 9. So we're moving along great. The next thing that happened was so the next thing that happened was I developed a fever of 38.8 Celsius, which is around 101 point something, so quite high. And I was so tired of them poking me and the IVs. I just didn't want like another needle or another blood test. So I actually said to the nurse, I'm like, well, I just drink coffee, so maybe that's the reason why the thermometer's hot. And she's like, okay, let's check it from a different place and let's see. Like, oh man, like, please think cold thoughts, cold thoughts. And then it's a fever. They took more blood from me. IV antibiotics, because I couldn't tell them what was wrong. They couldn't figure out if like why it happened. It's a little scary because it was me and the baby. But thank God for medicine, because the antibiotics really helped, and it brought down my fever very quickly. I started to feel better, and then she just checked me again. She's like, "Oh wow, you're ready to deliver." I'm like, "What? What? Now? That it happened so quickly? I'm not ready." And because I again didn't know what to expect, and I always get a little bit nervous about the unknown. And she let me try out a couple of pushes before, and then when she looked again, she's like, "Oh my gosh, you're at like +3." So the baby was practically out, and all I had to do was just finish up the last bit. And I have to say, it was my favorite part of giving birth. Just exactly the right amount of people. My mom, my husband, the midwife. The midwife was so sweet and very encouraging, and I had just enough contractions where it hurt, but I wanted this pain because I wanted to be able to feel her come out. I pushed, and within like less than 30 minutes, it was a very quick birth, she was out. And I got to feel the head before, and they put her on me, and I just was so shocked because I didn't know what to expect. I've seen ultrasounds, and I've listened to her heartbeat, but I couldn't imagine her face, and her face was next to mine, and she, like, my daughter, my daughter's in the world. All the labor that I put in was all for her, and it was just so beautiful. And I looked at my husband afterwards, like, look what we did, look what we made together. And it was just, I think, one of the most wonderful experience of my life. So yeah, so that's a recap of my labor. Thank you all so much for watching, and don't forget